folks. We're back with another episode of Holden Thoughts. I'm here with another member of the community. We're out here beating the streets again, asking them a few questions. So, sir, if you don't mind me asking, first question I have for you is, how do you feel about the stimulus packages? How do you feel about the government, giving out the stimulus packages, the extra $600 a week they're giving the unemployment to everybody? How do you feel about that?
Well, I think it's absolutely needed. I think what they're doing is they're trying to do whatever they can to stop from creating chaos in the society. And one of the ways that they can do that is by falling back on something which really is an oxymoron when it comes to capitalism, and that's socialism. And that's the payment of money that they're giving under the guise of stimulus. But it is really old-fashioned socialism in terms of trying to prop up the society while we undergo this pandemic and get the businesses up and running and jobs up and running and that type of thing. So that's smart, absolutely smart. It's like a pacifying program. Now, as far as black folks are concerned, I think it's a whole different story, because I think that we're owed a debt for what we have done in terms of building the society. So we're talking reparations, but we're not talking about no $1,000 that's going to take care of us. We're talking about something that's very much more serious and more in depth. We owe.
I gotta ask you, since you said that, it wasn't one of the. I have, just so you guys know, I have a couple questions. I pre-asked them, but I gotta spin off because of what you said. Now, saying that they owe us money to go with stimulus. How do you feel about they were able to give us this money? If they were as serious about poverty and mental health in America, do you think they could have gave us money towards that, and do you think they could have ended poverty? Or, if they had numbers like they have on unemployment on the they do have numbers on the poverty level, don't you think they should be trying to get that down as well, as long with the unemployment numbers? Because every time I watch CNN, they're telling you unemployment's down. That's a big thing for every president.
Yeah. Again, it's a whole different deal when it comes to black folks. Certainly class and poverty has a lot to do with it, but our main problem is racism. And it's this racism that has really, really held us back. And as the metaphor goes, they have kept their damn foot on our neck. So based on that, it's a whole nother ball game as far as addressing our issue. And we are penalized in so many areas. We're the most folks in jail. We're the first hired, last fired. Our school systems are poor. Our economic system is poor, but it's all tied into racism. So if they were serious, they would seriously address this need of racism. And of course, hand in glove with racism, again, is reparations. Yeah, they got to pay.
Right. I agree with that.
Got to pay.
So to go along with the racism, what you see all the protests and the rioting and all going on, how do you feel about the current climate of racial tensions in America?
Well, I think it's coming to a head, because racism has always been with us. But with this pandemic, and it's been like a tinderbox in terms of what's going on. I mean, everybody's in the house, so we got the cell cameras. People are seeing what's happening, especially in terms of the police violence, and it's becoming very, very clear. And if you have any kind of conscience at all, the bottom line is right and justice is justice. And if you are any kind of human being whatsoever, you're going to stand on what's right and you're going to stand on what's just. And I don't care what color you are.
True story. That's exactly how I feel. Now, another question I have for you is, are you as fearful of the coronavirus now as you were when we first were locked down?
Well, I think I know a lot more about it, and I think I know a lot more in terms of steps that I need to take to insulate myself from it. But my problem is not the coronavirus. I mean, it's terrible. But for me, the major problem in my community is black on black violence and black on black crime. They had this little young brother, I think he's like 15 years old. They shot this brother 20 times in North Philadelphia, and that was like early in the week. Violence in Philadelphia has spiked, which is really, really crazy because everybody's supposed to be inside. But for me, that's the major epidemic. That's the pandemic for me. Is black on black crime in the community.
What can be done about the black on black crime in the community?
Well, that's the question of the hour. You know, again, it gets back to the whole poverty thing. It gets back to the education issue. Unless you have something like a Marshall Plan, where you can take lots of money and infuse it into the community and create job opportunities. I think the jobless rate for black folks is like 25%. For young people, it's like 50%, which is crazy. So therefore, they have nothing to do. They have no way of making a living. These damn drugs, quiet as it's kept, is still happening in our community, and that's where they lean to. Then it starts beefs, and then it starts turf wars, and then they go to the guns, and boy, talk about a hell of a vicious cycle. That's what we're in. But the problem again is racism, and until they address that issue, ain't none of this other stuff will get addressed.
All right, very last question, I'm gonna let you go because I know you want to get your grub and everything. How powerful do you think your vote is?
I don't vote, not at all. I think it's a complete waste of your damn time. I think you need to be in your community. I think you need to be organized in your community. I think you need to be about setting up businesses in your community. These chicken-eating politicians have never done a damn thing for us. And if you think they're gonna make a difference at this point in time, it ain't gonna happen. Change is gonna come through the people.
I agree with you. I agree with you with the fact that us the people need to be the change. That's the only thing is if we raise our children a little bit differently. Not saying that anybody isn't, but we know there are children out there that aren't being raised right, without a father, without a mother, and when they're in the home, it's how the mindset and everybody's growing up and their environment. As you said, with the school systems, and I can say this because I grew up on both sides of the track when it comes to the school system. I was one of the few black people in an all-white school, and I went to an all-black school. There's a major difference. If you don't think there is, anybody who's been white your whole life and grew up, in the nicer white schools, go to the black schools. See how things are there. That's all I have to say.
But again, let me end with this. It's all planned. Our families are dysfunctional. It's a planned thing. All of the brothers is in jail, incarcerated. It's a planned thing. If you have no brothers, how are you going to put a family together? It's all intentional and it's all planned. And our problem is we don't believe fat meat is greasy and we can't see the forest for the trees. So we don't keep hitting our head up against the wall until we wake up and decide it's time for us to do something for ourselves. And that comes with unity.
Appreciate that, man. I can handshake. I didn't know how you felt about it. So appreciate you, man.